Greetings and welcome to the Ripple Effect. I am Selena. So, today's topic is about intentionality. I had posted a short on, I think, about 2 days ago, and it was talking about how God is intentional in our lives and how we should be intentional about our prayers, about our worship time. When we open up our Bibles, we should be intentional about what we read, not just for the sake of reading the Bible. There's a fad, I don't know, it's been around for a while, but reading the Bible in a year. And there's nothing wrong with that if you want to put that on your literary list and read the Bible as an accomplishment from Genesis to Revelation. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm encouraging you to read the Bible for understanding, not just simply reading past the words. The Bible is alive. There's so many things that, even though it was written over 2,000 years ago, things that are in the Bible relate to our daily lives now. Even one of my favorite books is the book of Proverbs. It's so much wisdom in it for how we live our lives. We always hear about the Proverbs 31 woman and what she was doing. It comes from that book. And so many verses, as you see up there, that come from the Bible that are encouraging for us, even in our today life. And I was thinking about how God is intentional with our lives and how we should be intentional with our worship. Because for me, if I'm honest, there are things that are going on in my life and I'm just like, okay, all right, Lord, you might have, I'm just saying, I have a little question, all right? Yo tengo una preguntas. Okay, I have some questions because I feel that you're missing the mark. You're missing it. I'm not sure if Jesus and the Holy Spirit, if all the Trinity, if y'all all at a table sitting together and you're talking about Selena's life and put your name there in the mix, if you're talking about my life and discussing it, what's going on from here, where I am, from birth to eternity, some of the things that I'm praying for, I feel like you're not giving me what I want. If I'm honest, I know that's what I really want to say. You feel like God is not giving you what you want on the time schedule that you want. But understand this: God is intentional. There is nothing that catches him by surprise. It may catch us by surprise. We might be like, oh man, I didn't know this was getting ready to happen. An unexpected car repair or a breakup or things that may happen in your health or to your friends or to your family members. And it's a surprise to us, but God cares. God knows. He's the only one who can see up the hill and around the corner. And so when we know that, when we can trust that God knows everything, he's sovereign, he's within it all, it should give us peace. And I say should because I'm talking to myself, okay? If you haven't caught on yet, I'm talking to myself when I say, hey, it should give us peace. It should give me peace. Because when I know that God is intentional about my life journey, about specifically for me, I'm able to relax and know that, okay, even though this caught me by surprise, even though I'm kind of shocked and reeling from what's going on, it's not a surprise to God, because he promises in Romans 8, all things work together for good for them that love God and who are called according to his purpose. So if you love God and you're falling in line with the purpose that he has for your life, then that verse is for you, that all things, not just the good things, but even the bad things. Because I know as a lot of adults, especially single mothers, you may be dealing with some trauma or some pain or resentment from a relationship of the absent father, or whether he's in and out, or whatever your situation may be. You may be holding on to some hurt and some pain that's there, but through it all, God is still working all things together. And I'll tell you this, I'll be brutally honest as I tell you, I'm being transparent. If it was not for the situation of me being a single mother for practically my son's entire life, okay, If that was not the case, I would not have the passion and the drive that I have now to encourage other single mothers. Because my path was very different. I was studying to be a nurse once upon a time. And God led me into life coaching. I'm a certified life coach now, and I'm a 2-time published author. And so that was not in the trajectory of being a nurse many years ago. I took my writing and gifting as just a hobby. And at least that's, at the time I had been told that it's just a hobby. It's not something really to pursue. I need like a steady job. I need something that's going to have income for me and my son because I was a single mother. So being a creative writer, or what they say, a starving artist, I can't be starving. Look, no, I can't be a starving artist. I need my biscuits, okay? So I need to make sure that I had a job that was going to bring in some steady income. And so I didn't even realize at the time God was still working things out for me. Even though I'm not a nurse, I still have a gifting and a purpose, because now I'm living in my purpose. I know why I was created. I know why I'm here, so that I can give a testimony to other single mothers who are out there struggling, who think it cannot be done. It can much so be done. I think that was a little grammatically incorrect, but you know what I'm saying. It can be done. It can be accomplished. And I say that not because of me, not because of pride or arrogance. It is because God himself got me through this. I had to be in my prayer closet. As I always advocated my videos, be in your prayer closet faithfully, studying the word, my Bible, being intentional about my relationship with God, because it's about a relationship. It's not checking a calendar to say, oh, I went to church this many times this year, or Bible studies or prayer meeting. But those things can be important. They have their place. But nothing is going to supersede the relationship that you have with Jesus Christ. And that needs to be something that's intentional. You have so many people spouting off at the mouth that says, I'm a Christian, or I'm spiritual, I'm not really religious. And people will say that off the cuff. And we have people who are representing Christians in society, and they're making a mockery of God himself and Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. And that's why so many Christians get in this box of being hypocritical, and because their lives are being lived contrary to what the Bible states. And if I could say anything to encourage you, it would be live your life built in purpose. Be intentional. When I study my Bible and when I have worship, I'm intentional about that time. Nothing is going to interrupt that time. I tell my son all the time, if you're not bleeding or the house is not on fire, do not interrupt my time with God the Father, because I want to be intentional about what's going on during that sacred time, because it's vastly important that I have it. Honestly, to be truthfully honest, it's built on survival, because I don't see how people function outside of having a relationship with God. I don't. I guess there are people who use drugs and alcohol, which is a drug, or sex, porn addiction. There are a lot of things that people use to substitute what is only meant for God himself. There are people who use that to pacify themselves, or to as a coping mechanism to get through life, when you could have a natural high with Jesus Christ. Why pick up something that's going to have you in an AA meeting or an NA meeting when you can get high on Jesus Christ? Okay, you don't need any meetings for that except prayer meeting. That's all you're going to need. But be intentional about that. Don't and it's very easy in our society to choose a substance or to choose a lifestyle that's contrary to what we should be living in as a Christian. If you're going to have that label, okay, if you're going to put that out there, at least represent Jesus Christ as we should. And I'm very cognizant of that, being that I say I'm a believer on my channel, and I know that there are people watching me. It's not something that I take easily, because if I'm very honest, I didn't even want to do it. Okay, I'll just put that out there. because I'm a very private person. My business is my business, you know what I'm saying? And not really wanting to tell a testimony about being a single mother, because that's not glorified, okay? In society, it's not something that's talked about in the light of, whoo, all right, girl, you a single mother, look at you. No, I mean, if you're an entrepreneur and you're doing some things as a single mother, then maybe, but not the typical single mother that they show us in society that's struggling. She got more than one baby daddy, and she's just doing bad. So it's not something I wanted to necessarily be an advocate of, or to tell my business for that matter, because it's a very real, it's very visceral, the trials and tribulations that I had to overcome to get to this position, to be an advocate for single mothers, to tell what God has done for me. So I'm very intentional about what I say, what I do. Understand this channel is not for likes and subscribers. It's because I'm being obedient to the voice of God and no other reason. I operate for an audience of one. You can like it, not like it. But when I come to the end of the road and God says, well done, thy good and faithful servant, that's the only reward I'm looking for. Not what the world can do for me. Understanding that I have to be intentional about the purpose that God has called me to, and not just read the Bible for reading's sakes, or just pray or have grace over my food and nothing else. Because the Bible talks about how when we're first a believer, how we're on that milk, just like a baby. But then eventually, you're going to need some meat, some steak and potatoes. You can't just be on milk for the rest of your life. You can't be a Christian 30, 40, 10, 5 years and still quoting Genesis 1:1. You don't know anything in the Bible about Ephesians, Proverbs, or Revelations, Daniel. You can't even get into that. You can't explain or help someone understand the Bible. God has called us to be all disciples. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a pastor to tell someone about the love of Jesus Christ. It's about how we live our lives, about having an example about what God has done for us. Not necessarily a Bible study every time you see someone, but can you tell them what God has done for you? And that's why I'm here, because I can say, sometimes reluctantly, what God has done for me, because I know deep down within me it is to encourage someone else, a single mother, a mother just in general, or anyone else who may pass by my channel, that they know that they are going to get the truth, nothing but the truth. So I'm encouraging you to be intentional about your prayer closet, being intentional about your worship, and being intentional about having a relationship with God the Father. Don't let anything distract you from what's most important, because what profit a man if he gains the whole world but loses his soul? So that's it for today, ladies. Don't forget to subscribe and become part of the OAC Nation. That means becoming an overcomer and confident. And thank you so much for watching.